Hello and greetings from Iceland. In this update I will be talking about the tension while we are waiting for the next eruption to start. And I will also be talking about the island Eldey, or Fire Island, or the question if we are about to get a submarine eruption as a part of this volcanic tectonic chapter. But I'm starting with the tension on the Reykjanes Peninsula, and experts estimate that it was only about 1.3 million cubic meters that took off last Saturday from the magma reservoir that can hold somewhere between 8 and 13 million cubic meters before it pressurizes enough to send us an eruption. So we are, in a way, back to square one with even more magma this time than before last Saturday. Or to make this simple, we are at the point where just about anything can happen. And none of those 5 events since November 10th turned out exactly the same way, so we don't even know for sure what we are waiting for. And I'm still here in Reykjavik, just another volcano tour that got a bit longer than I expected. So I'm keeping myself busy, color grading, processing and editing some of the footage that I've been shooting recently. And every now and then I see something on the seismometers that makes me take off to the Reykjanes Peninsula. It takes me only around 40 minutes to drive to the Blue Lagoon, and during my Monday tour I noticed a lot of smoke coming from the lava fields there. So I made this drone time-lapse for fun, and smoke is actually nothing new on the Reykjanes Peninsula. Reykjanes means a peninsula of smoke, and Reykjavik, our capital, means the Bay of Smoke. And I think you know why my forefathers picked those names. And it was then on Tuesday when the seismometer started again. It was a magnitude 3 that struck on the westernmost part of the peninsula, and we also noticed a little earthquake swarm east of the city. And since the last event started shortly after an earthquake swarm by Lake Clevervat, most likely triggered by tension changes on the peninsula, I figured that I could just as well follow whatever signs we see coming from the ground under the peninsula, and took off to the Blue Lagoon once again, just to be sure, because if I'm not at the Blue Lagoon car park when the warning sirens will be turned on, I won't be able to get anywhere near to the eruption when it starts, not even with a drone. Tourists and all staff will be evacuated immediately, and the main road to the Blue Lagoon will be closed as well. And plan A is of course close-ups with the drone during the first 30 minutes of the eruption, but the odds are against me to capture such shots. But I do have a plan B and plan C, and I'm not just thinking about the drone. My drone camera is not as good as my DSLR camera, so if the eruption will start or peak when it's dark, I would like to play around with the glowing skies over the peninsula. And after all this driving around this week looking for filming locations, I'm as ready as I can be. But first and foremost, I hope that this eruption will not affect the town. They already got more than they could handle, like I was showing you in my last video that I'm linking to, or the close-ups from the lava fence and more in Reykjavik. So this is just a part of what I've been filming recently, and I did another tour today just to be on the safe side if something happens. So at least I have plenty of footage to justify this long tour. And the reason why I wanted additional footage from the tip of the Reykjanes Peninsula was simple. Just a few days ago, Professor Þorvaldur Þórðarson was in the media mentioning the growing seismic unrest there, saying that we should expect an offshore eruption, maybe not in the near future, but that's what Mother Nature seems to have in the pipes now. And such an eruption could be bad for the nearby international airport, of course, and good material for a video on its own. And the professor was also talking about the potential connection between the Reykjanes Peninsula and the magma chamber near this offshore island, Eldey, by a place called Geirfuglasker. And no other Icelandic scientist has, to the best of my knowledge, been mentioning this connection before. But I have, however, heard about this from other sources, like I mentioned last year in my video about the Eldvörpð craters that led me to this article I'm linking to, where it is stated that there is a continuous feeder tube extending from the magma reservoir near Eldey and running at an upwards angle all the way to the Eldvörpð craters, or feeding a system that is only a few kilometers away from the magma reservoir that is feeding those eruptions that are plaguing us now. And I think it's a worthy subject. So I would like to see other geologists talk about this. And there is just something about this place where the mid-Atlantic ridge rises up from the seabed. Something that makes me want to visit again and again. This place for me is a symbol of transformation, and the appearance of this area through photography is extremely diverse, depending on season and weather. And I think I'm drawn to this place because I suspect that it will at some point in time become a big part of the storyboard that we are going through on the peninsula. And this is the only place in Iceland that I know of where we can find a row of craters that originate from an eruption that started offshore and then migrated onshore. That eruption from the 13th century left us with this crater out there. Only a part of the rim is still standing, and those are the onshore craters. So as for the visual elements alone, this is a remarkable place, just like the geology around, or where the mid-Atlantic ridge becomes Iceland. And this place is not fully appreciated, in my opinion. Erosion is eating away the coast and the craters little by little, so when the weather gets a bit better, I want to spend a few hours there to film the complete crater row, or when the light is good enough to capture every little detail. So despite this tension, while we are waiting for the next big event, I've been keeping myself busy, and I will continue to do so until the eruption starts, or magma intrusion, or whatever it will turn into. And after things cool down, I will be back to North Iceland with more than enough material for a large series of videos. So will the eruption start this weekend, or is Mother Earth just teasing us? And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the Volcano Island, Iceland.